Hello everyone, Ryan here with Product Impressions. It's been a while since I've upgraded anything in the desk setup that I have here. Right now it's a 27-inch monitor horizontally and a 23 to 24-inch monitor vertically over here. I was also given the opportunity to test out a new M7 32-inch smart monitor from Samsung. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use this. We'll see if it gets put onto regular use here, or maybe, depending on how smart it is, maybe it will actually function as a secondary TV. So yeah, let's pop this thing open and see what you get with the new M7 smart monitors from Samsung. All right, so this is what the Samsung M7 monitor looks like out of the box. Basically, when you open the box, you got the monitor, power plug, a Type-C cable to connect to a computer, or an HDMI cable to hardwire to a computer. So that's basically what you get in the box with this. Also, a little remote control for actually controlling the interface here. When you first turn it on, it looks an awful lot like a Fire TV or something like that, though a little bit less refined. I think Samsung has a little bit of catching up to do as far as the interface is concerned. My first somewhat issue with this, it's not really a big deal, but it was more involved than I thought that it would be. When you first turn this on, it requires a software update. That's fine. It takes about 10 minutes or so. I'm sure that depends on your internet connection speed. But then once it actually updates, you have to log into it with a Samsung account. So if you don't have one of those, you'll have to set up a Samsung account. Then it'll ask you about using a voice search, because you can speak into the microphone on the remote in order to do a search just like you could on a Fire TV stick. So you have to sign into an account for that. Then if you want to go into any particular streaming app here, personally, I've used Netflix and Prime Video. Those are the only two services that I have at this point. But you have to go in and sign into each of those. So by the time you've actually updated the software and signed into everything that you need, it's entirely possible it's going to be half an hour or so just to set up this smart monitor for streaming shows and things like that. I will say the picture on this is great. No issues at all as far as pixelation or things getting blurry or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and go into Prime Video just by touching that, and sure, let's tell it to play here. Pretty standard loading screen. Everything is very nice, very clear. You do have what appears to be a button here, but it's actually a rocker that you can push up or down to control the volume. It does go up to, this is currently at about 50. I find that to be a good volume, maybe a little bit loud at times, but it does go up to 100, and I've turned it all the way up to 100 and had absolutely no issues with the audio getting distorted or anything like that. So don't expect deep rumbling bass out of this or anything like that. But as far as TV audio is concerned for watching most shows, things like that, it's actually quite nice. You've also got a second rocker on the remote over here for up and down, and you can also press that one in like it's a button. If you press that in, it will go to its pseudo live TV. These are all different streaming channels. So you can see there's a whole lot of different online streaming channels. There are some news things on here. You also have other like stories from AMC and Baywatch and show-specific channels. So all of these are just online streaming things that they are free to watch, but you don't really have the functionality like you would with a Fire TV or something like that, where you could actually pause or rewind or anything like that. But it's nice to have there if by chance you just aren't coming up with anything that you want to watch otherwise. Now if we go back into this home screen, you've also got different options over here. I'm guessing most of your time would be spent with media, but there are other options here for games. I personally don't own any gaming systems, so it does come with apps for Xbox, Stadia, various other things. I don't have any controllers to connect to this, so I don't know how well those work. But also of interest, I thought, is here in this workspace area, you can connect a PC, Mac, or Samsung DeX. This is Samsung's own desktop software for cell phones. So you can connect something to that, or you can work directly through the monitor in Microsoft 365. This is interesting in that I mentioned before, it comes with these cables to connect to your computer if you want, but you don't need to use these because let's go into how to connect to your PC. You'll see here you've got options for an easy connection where you can download software onto your computer and connect through that way. Return to this workspace whenever you want to come up with the using this as a monitor, but you can also do a manual connection here to connect to the PC remotely, or just in a Windows computer you can detect this as a wireless screen and use this to just further extend your desktop or mirror a screen or something like that. I thought that this is particularly interesting because I don't see this wireless extension, wireless display technology used all that often, and currently my laptop is always connected to a hub while I'm using it. That connects it to 2 other displays, but that's the most that that hub can do. If I want to add another screen to it, I have to get a larger, more expensive hub, or I can use one of these with a wireless connection. So you can wirelessly connect and kind of circumvent the whole need for additional plugs out of a computer or a docking station. So that is nice. I do appreciate that. Otherwise, there is search. This just goes through searching for whatever media you happen to want. So there are some other options down here for settings on Wi-Fi, picture setup, all of that, connecting other devices to it, or what they call multi-view. If you go into this, you are supposed to be able to add, yes, current function is unavailable. We're just going to say cancel in this. You are supposed to be able to view side by side phone, computer screen, or set up your own thing, set up your own way of the multi-screen display. I spent a while trying to get it to both mirror my phone and have something else up there at the same time. I just can't get it to do it. My phone does not recognize the monitor does not recognize my phone. You can try and pair it either way. It didn't work either way for me. So hopefully that's not something that you're hoping to do. It doesn't seem to be great for that, but otherwise, as far as streaming content and all of that, this does seem like a good way to go. It is worth noting that, well, I'm just going to go back into media here. You do have all of these different streaming service options that you can set up on here. And as you can see, there's an app store as well. There's not a lot in there. There's basically all of these same apps that are already installed, so you don't really need to install anything else. But I would not expect this to be updated as much or have the utility of it maintained like you would get with a Fire Stick or a Fire TV, some other smart display from an actual company involved in the media production or media streaming services. So if you were to get like a Fire TV or something like that, you can be pretty assured that Amazon is going to make sure that you can keep consuming their content through that. Samsung doesn't really have that. They have a relatively limited number of channels in this Samsung TV Plus. You've got all of these apps that work. As to whether or not they will work years in the future, that remains to be seen. That's an area where tech companies seem to fall down. They like to put out the device, have it flashy and new, and then not support it. Samsung has that issue with their phones where you might get a year's worth of operating system updates or something like that. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a long service life that they are providing for you. So it does work for these streaming options. I'm not sure how reliable that will be in the future. Price-wise, I believe this is about $320, $330. It really raises a question of what you want this for. If you want this for a wireless monitor, okay, I could see that. That's a reasonable use for it. If you want this as a primary monitor that you can hardwire to, you can get other monitors for less money than this, including 32-inch or so. If you want to use this as a TV, you can get TVs that are about 4 times the size, Amazon Fire TV, so it has all of the streaming functionality as well, for about the same price, maybe even less. So you could even get a cheaper TV that is bigger and add on a Fire Stick and have all the same functionality in a more reliable fashion. So would I actually recommend getting this? Probably not. I think it really depends. You have to have this very specific use case where you want to do the wireless extension of your computer desktop. You, for some reason, want to use the streaming services on this without it being connected to a computer. Or if you just want a TV, you're better off getting a TV. If you just want a monitor, you're better off getting a monitor. So this seems like something targeted to a very narrow segment of people. Does it work? Yeah, it works very well. It looks nice. The screen is very sharp. The audio is decent. All in all, no complaints there, but just really think about what you actually need to get from the device that you're buying before you get something like this. It's entirely possible you could get a better deal either through just buying a monitor or just buying a TV, or even a TV with a Fire Stick. Could probably do better than this. So, is it worth that money? Probably not. It's probably not worth what they're asking for it, because you could get a better deal one way or the other if it's just a monitor or just a TV that you want. But in any case, hopefully this has been of some help to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I do my best to answer whatever I can. Otherwise, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.